I'm the owner, Chester LaFay. Are you looking to take out a loan?
Not today, I'm afraid. I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator.
Look, I don't know what you've heard, but I run a clean business here. I don't need any trouble.
And I'm not here to cause any, for the moment.
Just keep your nose where it belongs, and we should get along fine.
Do you suppose LaFay turns the heat up to put some pressure on his clients? Must be soothing for LaFay to be able to look at this landscape while he sits at his desk. He actually has a degree in business from the University of New Britannia? What a waste. LaFay with a woman and a small girl. I wouldn't have taken him for a family man.
Big photo.
A crew escaping a shipwreck on a violent sea. Not the most comforting painting to look at while waiting for a loan. I shudder to think how many people's financial freedoms are locked away in that cabinet. That's the latest model Computron. They don't come cheap. LaFay must be doing pretty well for himself.
Is this on his desk? We don't know. Right.
Mr. LaFay, I'd like to ask you some questions.
Fine, but keep it brief.
Tell me what you know about Malcolm Harris.
Ah, Mr. Harris. Took out a loan about a month ago. Still hasn't paid me back. In fact, he sent along a letter yesterday, saying he was having an emergency and needed more time. I probably should have refused to do business with him. As soon as he walked through the door, I could tell his type.
What type is that?
Upper class, bored with his life, trying to escape and doing it through vice. In his case, gambling.
This guy is good. Maybe you can pursue money lending if the whole private investigator thing doesn't work out.
But for some reason, I pitied him and decided to give him the loan anyway. Compassion isn't exactly an asset in this business, you see.
Nothing to worry about in your case, then.
Aside from that, I don't know anything about him. I prefer to keep how much I know about my clients to a minimum. Makes things easier for me.
Are you aware that Malcolm's son, Charles, was kidnapped last night?
I had no idea he even had a son. As I said, I don't ask my clients too many personal questions. Though now you've told me, I suppose that would explain the emergency he mentioned in his letter. Poor guy.
Exactly how much did Mr. Harris borrow from you?
Is that relevant to your investigation?
It would help
Probably.
to have an idea of exactly how much he owes you, yes.
I don't feel comfortable telling you the exact amount, but I will say it was over 500 crowns.
A considerable sum.
Like I said, I probably shouldn't have done it, but I'll get the money back one way or another.
One way or another.
What's your policy regarding people who don't pay their loans back?
There are a few options. For the first 3 months or so, I'll send them a letter reminding them. After that, I start to threaten them with legal action. You wouldn't believe some of the things people do to avoid paying back their loans. One client went so far as to fake his own death.
Do you ever employ any more unusual methods?
Now wait just a minute. I see where this is going. Mr. Fordham, I'm a family man myself. If you're implying that I would stoop to kidnapping someone's child as collateral?
I never said that, Mr. LaFay.
Look, I have a family to consider. I'm not about to go getting my hands dirty when there's plenty of legitimate ways to handle the situation.
Take a look at this piece of fabric. Does it look familiar to you?
Sure, it looks like it came from a jacket. In fact, yes, it's the same fabric as the jacket I'm wearing.
Would you mind if I took a look at your jacket?
Sure, not a problem. Here.
Nice bit of animation there, wasn't it? Can I do anything with it? Thought I would have been able to click on the... Got ripped though. Can't turn it. Oh, well then we can't. Rips. Why is it letting you do this when there's nothing to see? Okay.
No tears in mine, huh?
Not a one. You clearly take good care of your clothing.
I don't mean to discourage you, Mr. Fordham, but I've seen a lot of people with this style of jacket. Hell, even Malcolm has one. I remember he was wearing it when he came in here.
I see. Thank you for the information, Mr. LaFay.
Yeah, I think the husband did it himself. Find Roland the musician. Let's go talk to Mrs. Davis again about Linda.
Hello again, Mr. Fordham. Did you hear? The Harrises got a note from the kidnapper.
I didn't hear. When was this?
Oh, not long ago. Within the hour. You should go see them about it.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. I shall.
I still want to talk to you first, though.
I have some questions for you, Mrs. Davis.
All right.
Mrs. Davis, have you ever had Linda visit you at the Harris Manor?
Oh, no, of course not.
Then would you care to explain your note to her in the Spectre Society guest book?
Please, Mr. Fordham, I didn't mean to lie to you. It's just that it gets so lonely by myself in the house at night.
Maybe
so
Linda.
Every now and then, I invite Linda to come over for tea and some company.
I see. And when was the last time this happened?
2 nights ago. Please don't tell Mr. and Mrs. Harris, Mr. Fordham. If they found out what I was doing, they'd have me dismissed without a reference.
I won't, but I'd very much like to speak with Mrs. Walker. Do you have any idea where I can find her?
All I know is that she works as a seamstress at a shop in Lyon, but I don't know the name. I'm sorry, I can't be of any more help than that.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Davis.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Okay, so Linda could have drugged the tea.
I'll be going now, Mrs. Davis.
May the spirits guide your path.
But what about the jacket? We'll talk to them about this note that they've given.
Oh, Mr. Fordham. Oh, thank God you're back.
What's going on?
Our butler just brought this in. He found it stuck to the gate outside.
Harris family, we have your son. If you ever want to see him again, stop building the new airships. We are not joking. So,
I have some questions for you, Mr. Harris.
Yes, of course.
What is your opinion of this ransom note?
It's obvious who sent it, Mr. Fordham. Why are you wasting your time here? Go arrest Mr. Devons!
Those are all the questions I had for now.
I think you're covering
Right.
up for yourself.
I have some questions for you if you're up to answering them, Mrs. Harris.
I'll try my best, Mr. Fordham.
Did you read the ransom note?
No, Malcolm wouldn't let me. He said I was already too upset.
That's all for now, Mrs. Harris.
Very well.
I'll let you
But let's go talk to you again. Gascoigne, look, can't go there. Let's talk to you
Todd
again.
Harris has no concern for the people who died of...
Mr. Devons?
Yes?
Mr. Devons, what can you tell me about this note?
I've never seen that before in my life.
Are you sure about that?
Absolutely. It's as I told you. I had nothing to do with that boy's kidnapping. I didn't even know he existed until you told me. Remember?
Yeah. And that note conveniently showed up right after you had that conversation. Let him stew in his own lines. His unique way of spelling is all the evidence we need to tie him to the note.
Very well, Mr. Devons. Forget I asked. Good day to you, Mr. Devons.
Yeah, so he didn't do it, but he was just taking
This Arthur
advantage.
Devons Joker is bad news. Not only is he making threats to the Harris family, he also has the nerve to send a ransom note. We have enough evidence to pin the crime on him, I think. The police can deal with the headache of actually finding the baby.
I don't think he did it though. We still need to track down Linda Walker. Roland the musician.
Welcome back, Mr. Fordham.
I don't think there's anything she can help with right now.
So how do we track down?
There's quite a few members in this group. Must be for the more traditionalist members.
See the cross last time.
I'll be going now.
May the spirits guide you to that which you seek.
Talk to Mrs. Davis again.
Hello again, Mr. Ford.
I'll let you know if I have anything else to ask, Mrs. Davis.
I guess not.
All right.
I'll be going now, Mrs. Davis.
May the spirits guide your path.
Doctor.
I'm here.
It's always nice to see you walk through that door.
Nothing really in there, was there? Can't
Your
look at
book
the
collection
bookcase.
has always astonished me. Heaven.
Addie?
What do you need, dear?
Addie, did you ever work with or meet a musician in Gascon named Roland?
Roland?
Yes, a piano player.
Oh, of course. That's gotta be
Ah.
Roland Devereaux. Yes, I know him. I'd just as soon never hear the name again, if I'm being honest.
That bad, huh?
He's just an arrogant little twerp, completely full of himself, thinks he's God's gift to music. He really isn't very good. Misses notes like you wouldn't believe. Used to throw me off the few times I sang with him.
Well, he's a person of interest in my current case. Any idea where I can find him?
Last I heard, he was playing a regular gig at the Crimson Cat, but that was a few years ago.
Okay,
If he's
hopefully we
not
can
still
go there
there,
and check.
they might know where he went.
Thanks, dear. That's incredibly helpful.
My pleasure.
If we got any more.
Have you ever heard of a group called the Spectre
clues from our-
Society?
I think I had a client once who mentioned it. There's some kind of spiritualist group, right?
So it would seem.
I don't really know anything else about them, sorry.
I can't believe the nerve of that narrow-minded old cow.
Who, Mrs. Delacroix? She's actually one of my nicest clients.
Hate to
I don't know
see
how
the
you can tolerate her.
difficult
If I
ones,
were you,
though.
I'd strike her off my list.
If I did that for every one of my clients who thought the same as her, I'd be out of a job. That's just the way it is.
Maybe so, but it doesn't make it any less infuriating. You weren't kidding about business picking up. You're averaging what, about 3 appointments per day?
More like 5. I told you, debutante ball season's busy.
Doesn't it get tiresome?
Not really. You'd be surprised at the sort of gossip I hear from my clients. I don't know what it is, but they just open up to me and tell me all kinds of personal things. You
Ask
sure
her
you
more
don't want me
often.
to give you a trim?
I'm fine for now, dear. Thank you. I'd forgotten how good you are at écarté. You absolutely destroyed me the other night.
As I recall, you used to hold your own pretty well.
We should have another match soon. That way I can hone my skills.
Yes, we should. As long as you can concentrate, I'm sure you'll get as good as you used to be.
I'll let you get back to your book.
Right, so hopefully we can now go to
Have
the
a lovely
Crimson
day, Addie.
Cat.
I wish you'd let me fix your hair before you go out like that.
It'll be fine.
Oh. Right.
Ah,
Hey.
the Crimson Cat. One of my favorite underground clubs. Ooh, I spent some wild nights here. Which reminds me, I wonder if Stefan is still working the bar these days.
Table of the store. Morning to you. How you doing? We are playing Lamplight City, a detective adventure game. Yeah, I thought it was quite early in the morning there. It's okay. Just trying to solve a kidnapping.
Looks like they've got Bollingworth, Millhopper, and Brooklyn Lager. Not a bad set of beers.
The other voice that appears at the bottom here is it's the ghost of his partner that he shot by accident.
Good old Bollingworth Ale. Unlike so many other things in life, it never lets you down.
Hey, thank you very much for
Well,
the bits.
not while you're drinking it anyway.
Here.
Next morning is another story entirely.
Aye.
Attention customers. Use of Dr. Tennyson's Vigor pills while under the influence of alcohol may cause loss of consciousness. It's nice to see this establishment looking out for its patrons.
Been quite a good game this so far.
Seagrave's Stasholine, high quality mustache wax. You know, I always wondered what you'd look like with a mustache.
Worked on a case to start with, and then his partner got shot, and then a while later we're working on some other little cases, but I don't know if we actually managed to solve the first case. I think we did it. We suspected the wrong person. Yeah, it's got a bit of sense of humor in it, so always
This place
good.
has been around for quite some time. That well-dressed feline is Red, the official mascot. Fine beer, always served here. Good to know. Looks like a view of Claremont Street with St. Denis Cathedral in the background.
Okay, we can't talk to them.
Quite the selection. It rivals even the Angel. Call me old-fashioned, but I've always felt the piano should be played by an actual human. These automated ones just don't have any soul.
Excuse me, are you Roland Devereaux?
Who's asking?
Miles Fordham, private investigator. I wanted to ask you some questions.
Sure, whatever you say.
So, I take it you're a musician?
A musician? Am I a musician? Man, you insult me. Ask anyone who hears me tickle those ivories. They'll all tell you. I'm doing the Lord's work. I am more than just a mere musician. I have a purpose on this earth, and that is to move people, to bring joy to their souls.
And this is after you've set the piano back to manual, right?
I don't expect a layman like yourself to understand, least of all a private eye. Your job is exploiting people's misery. I don't know how you can even look at yourself.
Oh, it's fairly easy. But then I expect you've never gone more than 5 minutes without looking at yourself.
Quite like the character art from each person.
Are you acquainted with a woman named Miriam Harris?
Sure, acquainted. That's definitely a word you could use. But then, I'm also acquainted with about 20 other women in this borough alone.
Fascinating. Could you tell me about Miriam, please?
Sure, that woman could talk the ear off a cornstalk.
Oh? She said you didn't talk much.
That's right, I don't. She talks plenty for the both of us. Always going on about how sick she is of the phony high society types, how glad she is to be with someone real. But hey, she's loaded. And she's pretty good in bed, so it's a nice little thing we got going on.
Are you aware that Mrs. Harris' son was kidnapped last night?
What? Kidnapped?
Yes. Do you know anything about it?
No, not at all. I mean, I knew she had a son. She wouldn't shut up about him. Why would anyone take someone else's child voluntarily? Are people that desperate to have their own little brats?
I assume you're not a fan of children?
Let's just put it this way. I would rather have a hot poker shoved up my ass repeatedly than ever have to deal with a child.
Well, that's quite specific.
There is no way in hell I'm going to tie myself down and give up this great life of mine. If this lady's kid's been stolen, she'll probably leave her husband and want a replacement brat. I'm not gonna be that sucker, that's for sure. Thanks, friend. You've really opened my eyes. I think the time has come to exit stage left from Mrs. Harris's life.
You're a real piece of work, Roland.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's quite enough for now.
It's about time.
Okay. So it's definitely not him. I still think it's the husband. Still need to track down Linda Walker. I don't think it was Arthur Devons. Track down Linda Walker. At least, I mean, the whole thing's been voice acted out, so which I like. Need to find this Linda Walker. Talk to Constance again.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I was going to say,
That's it,
sometimes
Then you'd better get back to it.
sometimes the character size isn't matching properly.
The election seems to be getting intense
That's okay,
earlier
yeah.
than normal this time.
So
Sometimes they don't
how's the
shrink
caddy
the
business?
characters.
Making good money?
Don't I wish? I was thinking about signing up with Colson's Cabs, actually.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
Other case?
What's the other case you mentioned? The one you said was a higher priority.
Well, it seems we might have a mass murderer on our hands.
You don't say.
That's right, I didn't say because I shouldn't say. But so far, we've had 3 murders with a very similar MO in the past 2 months. Snelling is trying his hardest to keep it under wraps since the newspapers already caught wind of the first 2.
I don't envy the department there. I'm happy to stick with the missing persons and domestic disputes. How's work going?
Hectic as usual. Crime in the city seems to be getting worse and worse every day.
I suppose that's the price of progress.
God help us if they ever actually discover that ethericity stuff then. Things between you and Adelaide getting any better?
I'm really not sure. They haven't gotten worse, but things haven't been the same between us since Bill died.
Well, you need to figure things out, or everything is just going to explode in your face one of these days.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, Upton.
I'm merely speaking from experience. If I'd seen the warning signs of Harold sooner, it would have saved me quite the headache. At least your marriage seems like it's still worth saving.
Can we go over my current case?
Of course. What have you got?
I found this torn piece of fabric at the crime scene. It's got an emblem with some initials on it.
I recognize that emblem.
Do
It's
you?
from Solomon Stitching, a little tailor shop in Lyon. My ex-husband had several jackets from there.
Sorry to dredge up old memories, but do you remember where they're located?
I believe it's on the corner of Bonneville Street and Surratt Avenue.
Fantastic. You're helpful as always, Upton.
Okay, so hopefully we can find out who bought that.
I found this button at the crime scene. The child's nanny identified it as the eye of his stuffed bear.
Did you find the bear at the scene?
No, the kidnapper must have taken it as well.
Interesting.
Either the kidnapper is very compassionate, or it's someone who knew the child.
Still the dad. Pretty certain it's the dad.
I spoke with Henrietta Davis, the Harris family nanny.
A sensible place to start. What did she have to say?
She claims to have been unconscious when the kidnapping took place.
She must be an extremely heavy sleeper.
I don't believe so. The way she described it made it sound like she was drugged.
Interesting. Definitely worth looking into, I'd say.
Have you ever heard of the Spectre Society?
I think so. They're some sort of ghost hunting club, aren't they?
A spiritualist group, yes.
Don't tell me this case has taken a turn for the supernatural.
Not exactly. It's just come up as a potential lead. Are you familiar with the term metempsychosis?
No, what is it?
Apparently some mystics and philosophers maintain that it's a process whereby human and animal souls are transferred to new bodies upon death.
Fascinating. Some people have such queer ideas. What's that got to do with the kidnapping, though?
I'm not exactly sure yet.
Sometimes I'm jealous of all the odd things you detectives get to look into.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
Right, we need to go to the sewing place. Find out more about the jacket. There we go.
Good day to you, sir. Welcome to Solomon Stitching. I'm Jonah Solomon. Please let me know if I can help you with anything.
Isaac Samuels, the Prime Minister who freed the slaves. They say even his enemies wept on the day he died. I sure hope I get to meet him someday. This guy has been in business forever.
Has he?
That
Wait,
coat is so dull. I always prefer the ones with a bit more color. The design of that coat looks awfully familiar. Quite the selection, but I doubt the typical clientele of this place buys off the rack. My grandmother had one like that. I think it was meant to be relaxing, but it always felt like my time was running out. Now that it has, well, it actually is relaxing. Go figure. Impressive collection of pattern books. I wish I'd known about this guy when I was alive. I'd have asked him to make me a suit for my funeral. Judging from the position and the lock, this is likely where Mr. Solomon keeps his money. That cloth will be a garment soon. A vest, by the looks of it. Or maybe I'm completely wrong, and it's a treasure map.
Okay, let's talk to Solomon. See what he's up to.
Mr. Solomon?
Yes, sir. How may I be of service? Oh, let me guess. You're looking to replace that old coat. It looks like it's got quite a few stories it could tell me.
You should listen to the man, Miles. He clearly knows what he's talking about.
Not today, I'm afraid. There's still a few more stories it has left to tell. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
Questions? Very well, but if they aren't about tailoring, I don't know how much help I'll be.
This is a nice shop you have. I never even knew it existed.
Well, better late than never, I always say. Life has a funny way of always taking us where we need to go in the end.
True. Although I think it's easy to miss out on things from time to time.
Oh, of course. It's easy to overlook the details, but in the grand scheme of things, you'll end up where you need to be. And in this case, you ended up here. So, please, feel free to take a look around. Let me know if you find anything you like.
I found this piece of torn fabric with your emblem on it. Can you tell me anything about it?
Yes. Brown, wool, houndstooth. This is from one of the more popular jackets I sell.
And here I thought my ability to name ales within 5 seconds of tasting them was good. This fella has me beat.
Do you have any of them in stock currently?
Well, sure. I've got one on the display dummy over there.
Is there any way you can tell me who you've sold them to?
Oh, I don't think so. I've sold at least 20 in the past month. As I said, it's a very popular style.
Yeah, what about... Oh, the SS stood for Solomon Stitching.
Is there anything you can tell me about this button?
Looks like it's made of wood. Not very well crafted either. Definitely not from one of my products.
How did you get into this business, Mr. Solomon?
I was always good with a needle and thread. When I was a boy in Poland, I would help my mother with her sewing. Then, during the war with Russia, I fixed uniforms and stitched up wounds. Not long after that, I moved to Vespuccia, settled here in New Britannia. My first shop was in the Chum, but thankfully, I was very successful and was able to move to Lyon. I won't lie to you, this location is much, much nicer. It's refreshing to not have to step over drunken hobos when I open and close the shop.
Oh, but that's part of the charm of owning a business in the chump.
Not much else to say beyond that. My business is my life.
You seem very dedicated to your craft.
That's right. You won't see any of that newfangled steam-powered nonsense in here. Everything is done by hand and with care. I use only the finest quality materials and stitch every thread myself. And that's the way it's gonna stay as long as I'm around. It's worked for 45 years. There's no reason to change as far as I'm concerned.
Do you by chance employ a seamstress named Linda Walker?
I do, yes.
Is she here?
No, she has the day off today, but she'll be in tomorrow.
Would it be possible to have her address?
Begging your pardon, but why should I give it to you?
I'm a private investigator, and it's crucial to this case.
Well, as I said, she'll be here tomorrow. You can ask her then.
It really is a matter of some urgency.
I'm sure it can wait a day. But if it were really that urgent, I would think the police would be involved, not a private investigator.
Oh.
I'm not obligated to tell you anything, so please, let's move on before I lose my patience.
Please, Mr. Solomon, it's extremely important that I get Mrs. Walker's address.
So you said, but why should I?
She's my sister, and we've lost touch.
I thought you said you were a private investigator.
Well, yes, but...
I don't appreciate it when people try to make a fool of me, Mr. Fordham. Because I'm a patient man, I'll let this pass for now. But if you try and pull one over on me again, I'll be forced to remove you from my store. Understood?
Yes, sir.
You really need to work on your social skills, Miles.
We better not ask again.
I'll be taking my leave of you now, Mr. Solomon.
Very good.
Because we know what happened last time. I pushed it too far. And we couldn't get back in. Let's see if her wife knows anything.
I've managed to survive the wild streets of New Britannia.
Hello, Miles.
Addie?
What do you need, dear?
How are things going with you?
I'm a bit worried about some rumors I've been hearing.
Ooh.
Oh?
They're saying it won't be long before automated hairdressing devices are available to the public. Once that happens, it's going to be tough for me to keep getting jobs.
Automated hairdressing devices? How would those even work? Do they read your mind?
Doubtful. More than likely they'll have some kind of settings or just give everyone the same type of hairstyle.
I wouldn't worry too much, Addie. You're the best hairdresser in town. I doubt people will place their trust in some contraption over you.
You underestimate my clientele, Miles. They're mostly all rich socialites whose hobbies are buying the most expensive and modern things just to outdo their peers. They'll be sending their servants to line up for days before the things are released.
Perhaps, but they'll come running back to you once the machines stop working. You'll see.
I certainly hope so.
I'll let you get back to your book.
Can we wait till the next day? I haven't tried that before.
Don't worry, Miles. I don't watch when you and...
It would be nice if you didn't...
I thought you were
Heard all that before. Right.
Yes, the bottle is still in there. But you'd better not back out on our agreement, Fordham.
I'll see you later, Addie.
I wish you'd let me fix your hair before you go out like that.
It'll be fine.
Right, so how do I not... need to investigate Solomon's stitching. How do we investigate that? I wonder if she knows anything.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I don't want to wrap up.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
If the husband's heard of it. Or the wife.
I'll let you know if I have any more questions. Sit tight, Mrs. Harris. I may have more questions for you later.
And? We talked to Davis again.
Hello again, Miss.
I'll let you know if I have anything else to ask, Mrs. Davis.
No.
All right.
I'll be going now, Mrs.
May the spirits guide your path.
If he owes money to the London guy.
I've got some more questions, Mr. LaFay.
Go ahead then.
Tell me a bit about yourself and your business, Mr. LaFay.
What's to tell? I lend people money, they pay me back.
Surely it's not that simple.
Well, of course I charge interest, otherwise I'd never make a profit. I know people don't look upon the service I provide very favorably, but without my help, there would be a lot more unhappiness in the world.
How did you go about starting up this business?
I didn't. My former employer, Mr. Roth, left it to me when he passed.
That was rather good of him.
Yes, well, he didn't have any heirs, and he considered me to be the son he never had. He was fond of my family, too. I try and keep my work and home life as far away from each other as I can, though. There's a lot of things in this line of work that my wife and daughter are better off not knowing about.
I think that's all for now.
That didn't really help.
I shudder to think how many people's...
I'll have to go around and talk to everybody again.
He's busy with his protest. Best to leave him alone for now.
Need to get in to see Solomon. We'll go talk to the Spectre Society and then we'll go back to Solomon.
Welcome back, Mr. Fordham.
I don't think there's anything she...
Never mind then, and there was nothing in here.
There's quite a few
Solomon's not a member here.
I'll be going.
May this...
So we just have to talk to him. Let me just save.
Welcome back. Let me know if I can help you with anything.
Come to think of it, I have seen plenty of people wearing that design. No tears in this one, though.
Did we miss anything here? Let's talk to him again.
I've got some more questions for you.
All right, I'll do my best to answer them.
This is just Linda Walker.
Please, Mr. Solomon, it's extremely important that I get Mrs. Walker's address.
So you said, but why should I?
We're just gonna have to go for it.
I know I said I was a private investigator before, but there's a more delicate reason I want to speak with Mrs. Walker.
Oh?
Her son, Alexander, and mine were schoolmates. I just found a book he lent my son, and I wanted to return it. I've been trying to track her down for ages, and only just found out where she worked.
Oh, I see. It was a terrible tragedy what happened with her boy and her husband. I know how private Mrs. Walker is, but I'm sure she would appreciate you returning her son's book. All right, she lives at 403 St. Agnes Street.
Remember when you couldn't even bring yourself to trick people into thinking their shoelaces were untied? You've come a long way, Miles.
I'll be taking my leave of you now, Mr. Solomon.
Very good.
Hey, Baron. Right, we need to go here.
This machine is quiet. It's already gone up considerably in my estimation.
You could learn a thing or two from it, Bill.
It says here that Linda Walker is in the upstairs apartment, and someone named Douglas Emafiel is under the stairs. Some people would call that humming and hissing the sound of progress. I'd call it annoying.
I wonder why they got their water heaters outside. Let's try upstairs.
Nobody home. Now what?
Pick the neighbor.
What? Who are you? Are you from the Steamworks?
Afraid not, sir.
Damn. Oh well, what can I do for you?
Why did you think I was from the Steamworks?
Because I contacted them a few days ago when my boiler broke, and nobody has come to repair it yet. I should have known better. Those fools always take their time, if they even bother showing up at all. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in here with nothing but cold water. If I catch pneumonia and die, you'll know who to blame.
Do you know Linda Walker?
Of course. She lives upstairs. Who's asking?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm trying to find Linda so I can speak with her.
What's your business with her?
I'm afraid that's private.
Well, she's out right now. You'll have to come back another time if you want to visit her.
Alright.
Have you got any idea when Mrs. Walker will be back?
Not for a few days. She told me she was going away for a bit. Ah, that reminds me. She asked me to water her plants while she was gone. Just need to remember where I put the spare key.
Did you say something about having a spare key to Mrs. Walker's apartment?
Sure, I'm her landlord. I look after the place when she's gone. Got a bit of a green thumb, that one, so she puts me in charge of watering her plants. The trip up is a bit of a pain, though. My hips aren't what they used to be.
We can water them.
I'm a private detective, and it's of the utmost importance that I get that key from you.
Right. Private detective. I don't have to do anything you say. You're not really the law. So nice try, but I'm not betraying Mrs. Walker's trust so easily.
He says that now, but I'm willing to bet he'd do it if it benefited him in some way.
Sorry to bother you, sir. I'll just be on my way.
Fix the boiler?
Miles, what are you doing? You don't know the first thing about steam engine repair.
It can't be that hard to work out.
If you're serious about getting it fixed, I'd suggest looking for someone who knows about this sort of thing first. But if you just want to charge in blindly, be my guest.
Small. Oh wait, we can turn them. Oh, okay.
These pipes are connected to the flue. They must heat up the water in this overgrown tea kettle.
Starter valve.
Fine fuel source.
Two.
These pipes are connected to the flue. They must heat up the water in this overgrown tea kettle.
Is that warm
These
enough?
pipes are connected to the flue. They must heat up the water in this overgrown tea kettle.
That's lit.
A fine fuel source.
I need to open that, close the door. Oh, there we go. I think that's it. Or do we need to have that on the green? Maybe. Turn it to the left. Oh, wrong way. Ooh. just to the right. Whoa. Wrong. There, green. Coming out of them all? That look okay. That's too far. Bang on, isn't it? Do you think that
I don't
would
think
work?
you should leave this thing unattended before you've made any repairs.
Oh. That wasn't right then. Right. Let me turn this on. What was that?
Now you've done it.
Oops.
What the? My boiler! What have you done?
I do apologize.
You're one of those saboteurs, aren't you? One of those Redites!
No,
I'm calling the police, you no-good troublemaking bastard!
Now you've really done it, Miles. Best not to stick around here too long.
I wanted to do that. I want to reload. Go. Go back to there. Let's try this again.
What? Who?
afraid not.
No.
Why did you
me?
Do you know Linda? Have you got any? Did you say?
So
he says that now, but I'm willing to bet
Right,
he'd
we'll
do
save
it
it at
if
that
it
point.
benefited him in some way.
Sorry to bother you, sir. I'll just be on my
I
way.
want to get this boiler working, if possible.
Miles, what are you doing? You don't know the first thing about steam engine repair.
It can't be that hard to work out.
If you're serious about getting it fixed, I'd suggest looking for someone who knows about this sort of thing first. But if you just want to charge in blindly, be my guest.
Oh, what about guy over here?
He's busy with his pro.
Yeah, I thought he might have. He won't know. Solomon won't know. Nobody else would know how to fix the boiler, would they? Talk to the wife.
I've managed to survive.
Seeing you.
Addie?
What do you need, dear?
Yeah.
Addie, you wouldn't happen to have any manuals on repairing steam engines in your library, would you?
Thinking of changing careers?
No, there's just a boiler that needs repairing and I need to figure out how to do it.
A boiler? What kind of engine is it?
I'm not sure, but it had Whitney 200 embossed on the side.
Oh, of course. That's one of the most common steam engines around, used in practically everything. In fact, the player piano at the Firkin and Fryer had one, and that thing was always going out of alignment. If that's all that's happened with this one, I know how to fix it. Used to have to do it all the time.
Adelaide Fordham, you are just full of surprises.
Where is this boiler?
Not terribly far. It's a townhouse on St. Agnes in Livingston.
Let's go then. I could use some fresh air. Not quite a player piano, but it shouldn't be too tough. Would you like me to walk you through it, or would you prefer I fix it myself?
Please, tell me what I need to do.
All right, let's take a closer look. Right, the first thing you'll want to do is open up the firebox door and light that coal on fire. And it'll be a good idea to open the engine hatch too, so you can keep an eye on it.
That was easy enough. What's next?
Now you want to open the flue and close the fire door so the water in the tank starts boiling. Once that happens, steam will enter the dome, and that big pressure indicator will start going up. Assuming the steam valve is completely shut, of course.
And if it isn't?
Then the pressure will be transferred into the engine and the small indicator will go up. You want to use the valves to balance out the pressure and get just the right amount into the engine before starting it up.
And what is the right amount?
If I remember correctly, it was 3 on the small gauge. Less than that and the engine won't start. Any higher will tear the thing apart.
All right, here goes nothing.
So it has to be any of them, isn't it? Oh, it's okay. Sounds okay.
Nice work, Miles. Maybe if the private investigator thing doesn't work out, we can start our own engine repair service. Boilers are a lot like people, you know. They need to let off steam occasionally, or else they explode. You do well to remember that, dearest. Anyway, I need to be off for my appointment with Mrs. Lupone. I'll see you tonight.
Right, so he should talk to us now.
Yes? What is it?
I fixed the boiler for you.
What? Are you serious? It's pretty pathetic when some yahoo off the street does a better job than the people paid to do this sort of thing. I owe you, friend.
Might I take you up on that offer and get that spare key to the apartment?
Oh, right. You said you were a private detective, didn't you? Did Mrs. Walker do something wrong? Is she in trouble?
I'm not entirely sure yet, which is why I need to take a look inside her apartment.
I see. Well, I wouldn't normally do this, but you did me a great service by fixing the boiler. I
So you
can't
owe me
just
one
give
now.
you the spare key, but I can let you into the apartment.
That'll be just fine.
I thought you
Thank
didn't like to walk up the steps.
What in the ether?
Cripes, did a tornado come through this place or what?
Looks as though she definitely left in a hurry. I wonder if she planned on ever coming back.
I'll be waiting for you in the kitchen, Mr. Fordham. Just let me know when you're done looking around.
Torn apart. She took most everything. Well, it doesn't appear she had much to take. Torn apart. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to have my fill of plants and flowers. There's a handwritten note here. Valerian mixed with chamomile, sedative effects, deep sleep.
Seems Mrs. Walker's an amateur herbalist.
Maybe not so amateur. I'd love to see the look on Mrs. Davis's face if she knew it wasn't a spirit that possessed her. In fact, let's go tell her, so I can see it.
You've gotten fairly misanthropic in your death, Bill.
Have I? I hadn't noticed.
Definitely heard that
These will make great evidence in Linda's trial.
that did it.
I thought my apartment was messy. And the books she left behind are all trashy romance novels. Why wouldn't she take those? They're clearly the best ones.
Are they really?
That bit of torn wallpaper looks almost deliberate. What do you know? She hid a book behind the wallpaper. Looks like a journal.
I believe it. Can it be true? At tonight's meeting, I struck up a conversation with Henrietta Charles. Charles Harris was born the day Alexander died, and he has blue eyes. I know I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but this is too perfect. He thinks it's her kid's body, soul transferred into Charles. Charles loved Barney. But I'll read this. I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions, but this is too perfect to be a fluke. Sure, I need to find something of Alexander's appropriate for it. Maybe his old bear. Charles loved Barney. Henrietta told me she's never seen him react with such joy to any of his other playthings. There's no doubt now in my mind. Charles Harris is the reincarnation of my beloved Alexander. Last we can be together again. At least I can seek his forgiveness. I just need to find a way to take him from false parents without getting Henrietta into trouble. Okay, so it is her. Okay.
Well, this is pretty damn incriminating.
I'll say. Now we just need to figure out where she's gone, as well as how she managed to drug Mrs. Davis.
Oh, we've got you now, Linda. Thought you could be clever and get away with the baby, did you?
Bill?
Well, you thought wrong. With Fordham and Legere on the case, the only thing you're getting is a one-way trip to jail.
Bill?
And the worst part is how sloppy she was. I mean, really, she couldn't think to pick up a button? She might as well have left a signed confession in the crib for all the good it did her.
Bill, would you just shut up, for God's sake? Huh? Is everything all right?
Yes, everything's just fine. I just stubbed my toe on the bed frame.
You ought to be more careful, Mr. Fordham.
Sorry, Miles. You know how I get when we're close to solving a case.
You always do this. I need to concentrate, and I can't hear myself think with you yapping away.
Right, sorry. I'll keep it to myself.
Thank you.
But you have to admit, she really would have saved us the trouble if...
Bill.
Right. Not another peep. As you were.
Can I look at the stuff now?
Well, at least that painting cheers the place up a little bit. It's a boy. Can't be more than 7 or 8 years old. If that's Linda's son, why would she leave this behind?
Because she thinks she's got the real thing again.
A fairly recent model. Linda must have spent a good portion of her wages on it. Nice patterns. I wonder if Linda makes all her own clothes. You're actually gonna dig through that mess? I sure hope it's worth it. A receipt with yesterday's date. One-way train ticket to Pierre in Lorraine. Departed this afternoon.
Thought she could get away easy, it seems. Well, I hate to disappoint her.
Go then. Move. No, we don't want to accuse Arthur Devons. But we need to get to her quick.
I hope you were able to find out what you needed.
Yes, thank you for your cooperation.
Go to the railway station. Thought we would have had the railway station. Why don't we have the railway station? Oh, where's his wife gone?
I'll let you know if I... Sit tight, Mrs. Harris.
We'll go talk to Crompton, or whatever you call her.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
No, I don't want to wrap up the case.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
Not Arthur Devons. departed this afternoon, so there may still be time to intercept her arrival. How do we get to that then? Why is she not... Solomon.
Welcome back. I think we've gotten all we can from...
Welcome.
I don't think there's...
I'll be going now.
May the spirit...
Hello?
I have some questions.
All right.
Mrs. Davis, where did you get the tea you drank on the night of the kidnapping?
From my own private supply, I drink a blend of hibiscus and elderberry. It clears the mind and puts me more in tune with the spirits.
Did it taste off to you?
No. Why do you ask?
Because I think your tea may have been drugged.
Wait, are you saying?
I believe Mrs. Walker used her own herbs to drug your tea, knowing you'd drink a cup the following evening. She then snuck into the house after you'd fallen asleep and took the child.
Oh my word, I never would have thought.
I know, Mrs. Davis, but don't worry, I'm doing everything I can to find her.
Oh, may the spirits guide you, Mr. Fordham.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Davis.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Well, I'd say we have everything we need to prove it was Linda who drugged Mrs. Davis's tea and took the child. And we know where she's going, too. Upton will want to know about this as soon as possible.
Okay, so we'll go talk to Upton now. We've got a suspect, right? Could be it.
I'll be going now, Mrs.
May the spirits...
We talk to Upton. So it's just triggering it so the guarded as a suspect.
Can we talk?
Go on.
I'm ready to wrap this case up.
Okay, who's your prime suspect?
Linda Walker.
It was Linda Walker,
Who is she?
a seamstress who befriended the Harris family nanny. She took the child because she believes he's the reincarnation of her deceased son, whom she accidentally poisoned.
My God.
You'll find a journal explaining her motive at her apartment, as well as the plants she used to drug Mrs. Davis.
But what about the broken window in the nursery?
All part of a false crime scene she set up to draw our attention away from her.
Excellent work, Miles. Did you manage to find out where Mrs. Walker is now?
Yes, I found a receipt for a one-way train ticket to Pierre, which departed this afternoon.
Fantastic. We can send a telegram to the train station and have her arrested upon arrival. You've done extremely well, Fordham. Snelling could only hope to have a detective as good as you again.
You flatter me.
Then I'd better stop before your head gets any bigger. All right, Miles. I'll go through the proper channels and report your information as an anonymous tip. And of course, I'll dip into the department's Good Samaritan fund to get you proper compensation for your work. For now, go home to your wife. I'm sure I'll have something else for you to look into fairly soon.
Welcome to Lorraine. An awfully cute baby you got there.
Oh, thank you, sir. This is my son, Alexander.
Alexander. That's a good name. Strong name.
Yes, thank you. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in a bit of a hurry and I need to get to my hotel.
Of course. I won't keep you any longer, Mrs. Walker.
Thank you. Wait. How did you know my name?
I didn't. It was a lucky guess. But now, seeing as I know your name, allow me to tell you mine. I'm Sheriff Zeke Dollarhide. Linda Walker, you are under arrest for the kidnapping of Charles Harris. Surrender the child and come with me.
No, you've got it all wrong. This is my son. This is my Alexander.
Ma'am, please don't make this difficult. Come along to the station and we'll get this all sorted out.
Addie, are you home?
Still at her appointment, it would seem. You know, Miles, I have to say, I'm proud of you.
Why's that?
It's because you actually listened.
So does this mean you'll keep quiet until morning?
I said I was proud of you. I didn't say you were getting a reprieve.
Then I need to figure out how I'm going to sleep through the night without the soporific.
You worry about that too much, Miles. You can sleep when you're dead.
You don't ever seem to.
That's because I slept quite enough when I was alive.
In any case, I need to clear my head. The best way to do that after a case was always going for a drink at the Angel.
The Angel? But you haven't been there since...
Since you died. But perhaps getting back into old routines will help.
Perhaps. It would be nice to see old Patrick again at the very least. Then it's settled. A drink or two at the Angel, for old time's sake.
I have to say, it's been a real pleasure having you back, Miles. I was worried about you.
I appreciate your concern, Patrick. The past few months have been a bit rough, but it's good to be back in familiar territory.
Miles, can I ask you something?
What is it?
Well, it may be none of my business, and you can feel free to tell me to stuff it.
Enough with the preamble, Patrick. Just ask.
I know you quit the force, but why are you still working as a private investigator? Why not leave all that detecting stuff behind?
It's all I know. My grandfather was a cop, my father was a cop, so I became a cop. That's just how it went.
Oh, I hear ya. I come from 3 generations of butchers myself, but I broke the streak because I can't handle the sight of blood.
If only that had been true in my case.
Now then, will you be wanting another drink?
I'm not sure. I've already had 2. I should probably be getting... Wait a minute. Patrick, do you hear something?
No, Miles. I don't hear anything.
Neither do I. Another gin, if you please.
Bill's not there.
Coming right
In his
up.
head.
I must have taken a wrong turn back there. Hopefully Addie won't hear me come in.
It's in the doorway. Right. I am going to stop there for today. Start our next bit. I shall back with this on Saturday again. We're streaming tomorrow. I haven't decided whether to Dwarf Fortress or Valheim. It might just be Valheim tomorrow for a change. Let me just see if I can raid. No, that I usually.